All right, Genesis 30, let's call this one Till You Make It. Why? Because at times I've even used the term fake it till you make it, hopefully in the positive context of saying, look, the present relationship that I might have in a certain situation is not so good, but I do see the potential in that relationship. So I am going to try to treat that relationship according to its potential as opposed to all the negatives in its presence. From that perspective, I think it's a good concept. However, anything based on a lie is problematic. And so to the degree that I'm simply pretending about the potential in the relationship, I'm simply deluding myself. And that is denial. And that is exactly what is causing Leah a problem in chapter 30 of Genesis, really going back to chapter 29, when she's got her man, but she got him based upon false pretenses. And so she is going to try to fake it until this relationship somehow manifests a love that it just never seems to. And so ultimately that goes back to chapter 29 when it reads, verse 31, when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, because the Lord has looked on my affliction, for now my husband will love me. Good luck with that. Why? Because he worked 7 years for Rachel, even though she was the younger sister. It was wrong for Laban, her father, to substitute her older sister Leah in her place on the wedding night. And once Jacob realized what had happened, it was too late. And so now Laban bargains for another 7 years. And so if Leah is getting outside of herself to realize what is going on, I don't think she could even begin to reason that simply having a kid is going to make a man love her when he's worked 14 years for the woman he'd agreed to work 7 for in marriage. And so now Leah, in denying the fact that there's a lie between them that is probably affecting his relationship or his ability to love her, is trying to move on in a different direction without going back to fix the foundation. And here we talk about foundations in terms of course, a home. If you got foundational problems, it can manifest in all kinds of problems in the structure later on. Likewise, lies in the foundation of a relationship are something you can't really avoid if you're really going to have a legitimate repair. And that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to avoid what some will call the elephant in the room, which is the truth that the entire relationship should have never been. And with that, just bring it up to, what does that have to do with us now? Well, just me breaking it down for a minute and leaving the preacher hat and just speaking to the ladies. Ladies, I can't speak for all men and I can't speak for Jacob, but I can say it can be tough to love a woman that you don't respect. And part of respect is, just like when women look at a man and they want to see at least a minimum level of courage. Men typically want to see a minimum level of integrity in their relationships. And so that's even a man who lies. You will see that level of hypocrisy. He'll want to be able to trust the person who's next to him. And so in this situation, she's making a fundamental mistake by trying to move on and find another way to please the man instead of repairing that fundamental of respect, and that respect that would have been based upon truth. And so by avoiding the truth, she's not only ignoring the issue with her husband, Jacob, she is going to damage her relationship going forward with her sister Rachel. How do we know? Chapter 30, in verse 14, beginning, it says, in the days of the wheat harvest, Reuben went and found mandrakes in the field and brought them to his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. But she said to her, is it a small matter that you have taken away my husband? It's not your husband, sis. You already knew. So this is a problem when denial persists. If you allow it to persist, it can become a part of your reality when it's not a part of everyone else's. You knew from the very beginning. He was there for 7 years courting Rachel, but you came up, as we've talked before, Hagar would have done well to realize that when she was moving up in the household, it was at the expense of someone else's pain. Likewise here, Leah, she got the chance to come up, but that was never based upon what was supposed to be. And so what she's doing now, instead of getting the love that she's craving, she's driving a wedge between both her husband, who technically is her husband, and her sister. And so she has 2 relationships that are suffering because of denial. And so this is a situation where, once again, that whole till you make it thing, fake it till you make it, nothing based on a lie. Just in this preacher's humble opinion, ever turns out well. And so in many ways, this is a cautionary tale in how foundational lies in a relationship can separate us from the thing that we often crave, and that's love.